Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today you can tell from the title of the video that I am doing a NCLEX tricks and tips video. It is, I think, 2 weeks since I wrote the NCLEX and I am chilling. I feel very strange because I'm not used to not doing anything, so I'm trying to learn how to relax again. I thought while everything's still a little bit fresh in my head, I would make the video just to help others that are either writing the NCLEX soon or are just feeling nervous about their upcoming test. My first piece of advice is to calm down. As strange as that sounds, I think the anticipation of the test is so huge. Everybody puts so much pressure on themselves, but what you need to know is that you've already been through nursing school, so you are capable of passing this exam. That brings me to the first tip. Don't overuse resources. Stick to 1 or 2 resources that you are comfortable with using. There is no right or wrong way to study, so I will tell you guys how I studied, but again, that's my way of studying and everybody studies differently, so by now you should know how you best learn. Definitely don't overuse resources because you will overwhelm yourself. There's so many great resources out there, but you don't need to use them all to do well. I used mostly UWorld and Mark K lectures and workbooks. I think a lot of the actual knowledge is acquired when you're doing your nursing program. The NCLEX isn't very heavily content based, if that makes sense. It's more based in foundational knowledge. So I thought originally that I needed to sit down and go through everything all over again, which is a misconception that a lot of people have. You don't need to learn everything. I mean, if there's something that you were stuck on or it didn't make sense to you in nursing school, obviously go back, find a good resources to help teach you that knowledge. But most of my NCLEX studying was review. The Mark K lectures helped me pick out what the foundational knowledge I needed to know was. I used his workbook online. I found it. There's multiple places you can find it. I listened to each lecture and I filled out the workbook. Once I was done doing that, I went through the workbook itself and I sort of started to memorize things that I needed to have memorized, like lab values or pH stuff or side effects of certain diseases that are high yield topics. Those are the things you want to memorize. Don't commit your memory to things that are irrelevant, such as drugs. I bought that those flashcards. Don't get me wrong, it's great to have a resource like that because you're a nurse at the end of the day. It's great to know a bunch of drugs and commit that to your memory, but the truth is you really don't need to commit all those drugs to your memory. Again, Mark K highlighted those high yield drugs, and UWorld had a bunch of questions on those high yield drugs that helped me learn and memorize the drugs and the side effects that I needed to and not have to memorize so many useless drugs. On my NCLEX exam, you're going to get drugs that maybe you don't know. I did get one, but I actually could deduce what the drug was or what class it was in based on the side effects that they presented me in the question. So you don't need to know every single drug and every single side effect and all of that. That was just me being a stupid nursing student. Don't do that. That also brings me to the huge textbook that I bought. I did not, if I'm going to be honest with you, I did not open it at all. But I'm thinking I might keep it because I think it's still going to be useful when I'm practicing in case I want to brush up on my knowledge. Also mentioned that I have plans to do my master's, so I feel like it's still good knowledge to have. But in terms of NCLEX studying, I did not open that textbook. I thought UWorld was enough for me. So I bought UWorld, bought 2 self-assessments. So originally I thought I was gonna have a study plan. I was gonna study on this day, this day, this day, and do a certain amount of hours a day and all of that, but life happened and it was either I wait longer to write the NCLEX until I can like have a proper study schedule, or I just go with the flow, study not so rigidly. And so I decided, let me start studying and see how I feel. And I did get COVID while I was studying for the NCLEX. Still decided to book my NCLEX exam while I had COVID for the week after. I don't know if I'm just like a little bit nuts, but I felt ready at that point. I got UWorld and I started it in April. I was still in my consolidation, but I tell you, I probably did like maybe 200 questions. I don't remember. So I did about 20 questions a day and it was here and there. I wasn't doing very well. I was scoring in the 40s. I was more focused on my consolidation. It helped me ease into studying so that I didn't feel so overwhelmed when I decided to sit down and actually start studying. So I did that in April, and honestly, I wouldn't call it hardcore studying at all. I wouldn't call it like planned studying. It was just, hey, I have a little bit of time, let me do some questions. And I wasn't doing very well, but it helped me kind of introduce the idea of studying, because I know it's really hard to actually get started for a lot of people. And I ended up graduating at the end of June. June was a very busy month for me. I ended up moving, and then I got COVID. Before I got COVID, I studied for a week, about I'd say 6 to 8 hours a day. I was doing UWorld questions, going through the rationales. I did not type out a document with the rationales. I did not make any of my own notes. I filled out the blanks in the Mark K notebook. Just read through the rationales, saved some of the rationales in flashcards, but I never went back to them. I didn't go back to any of my incorrect answers. I didn't do any of that. I did not study the way I thought I was going to study. Tried to do 75 questions a day and go through the Mark K lectures. And that went on for about 2 weeks. And then I booked my NCLEX when I was down with COVID and I wasn't really studying. I think maybe I took 2 days off where I just kind of did like Mark K questions when I was like lying down and dying, and I'm like, okay, 10 questions, let's do it. Like, I was committed, but I wasn't like hardcore studying. It was literally a mess of studying. And for someone like me, I mean, if you've been following me, like, that's crazy. I didn't think I was going to be okay. I didn't take it like as seriously as I thought I was going to, because going through those questions and seeing my mark improve as I kept going through them, and like going through the Mark K high yield stuff was enough. 2 weeks of that, I was fine. I was just done. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that also did this. They just felt like, okay, you know what? I just want to take it. Like, I can't study anymore. I feel pretty good. NCLEX is designed for you to get things wrong. You get questions right, you're going to get harder questions. And once you figure that out, you're like, okay, I'm fine. So relax. I took my first self-assessment the day after I booked my test. It was a week before my test. So I did that, and I got a high chance of passing the NCLEX. I kept going, kept studying, and then that's when I started committing all of those lab values to my memory. And I realized the more UWorld questions I did, and the more I went through the Mark K content, the more fundamental things were sticking in my brain. And so I did the other self-assessment 3 days before, and I think I got a very high chance of passing. I can't remember. I got like a 67 or something like that. I don't know. I was like, okay, like, I feel fine. And then, like I said, if you didn't check out my vlog, go ahead and check that out. I didn't study the day before. The main point of all of that was that I did not have a study schedule. I studied until I knew that my quality of studying wasn't good anymore, and then I took a break. I studied until I felt that I actually knew the knowledge, and then I stopped. I didn't overstudy, which is my tip number 2. Don't overstudy, because you can't know everything. The point of the NCLEX is not to know everything, to know enough that you will be a safe nurse and be confident that you will be a safe nurse. And that doesn't mean you need to know everything. Number 3 is, do not compare yourself to other people, what they're doing and what they're using and how they studied, because everybody is different. What I'm saying to you right now might not work for you. You need to figure out, how will I pass this exam? If I feel like I need to buy that textbook and I want to go through these chapters, then go ahead and do that. Just don't look at what Becky down the street is doing. Tip number 5, take care of your mental and physical health in this time. Cliche, I know, but when I needed a break, I would go to the gym or do a little workout or get some fresh air or listen to a podcast or go to my husband and make him tell me how great I am, because I needed it. You need support in this time. Big thing, it's a big deal. Having so much ride on this one exam sucks. So have people there to support you and lean on them, especially your nursing friends, because they know exactly what you're going through. Tip number 6, don't go into the exam with any expectations. Don't go into the exam thinking you're going to shut off at 75 and then you'll be done. Because if you get to question 76, you're going to be very disappointed, and you still have a chance of passing. I mean, if you're getting to 76, you haven't failed. So if you start to shut down, then you might take away your chance of passing by panicking and freaking out. Don't go in there expecting to cut off at 75. Try your best to keep it together. If you go all the way to, 145, 150, I don't remember, you still have a chance of passing. You can finish the maximum amount of questions and pass. And I know you know that. Is that right? Again, you gotta remind yourself that, especially the day of. Remind yourself that if you're still sitting there and writing the test, you still have a chance. So keep going. Tip number 7 is take your breaks, because sometimes you need to refresh your mind. For me, I didn't take my break at question 74. If you saw my vlog, I was at question 70, I would have taken that break. I think that I was at question 74, I was just banking on being done. I was at question 70, I would have taken that break. I mean, even if it was just 5 questions left, I think refreshing your brain and getting a snack is good for you. And also, like, my stomach was rumbling so much. I had the earplugs in. Oh, tip number 8, wear the earplugs. They're so good. And I did ask for everything. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Like I said, I need tissues, I need earplugs. You need to feel comfortable. Back to what I was saying, those earplugs work so well for me. So when I put the earplugs in, I could feel my stomach rumbling, but I couldn't hear it. So then I took the earplugs out, and then I was like, how loud am I right now? And then I heard how loud my stomach was, and nobody else took earplugs. Like, I was watching and nobody took them. So I was like, damn, they could all hear my stomach. So then I was like getting a little like, maybe I should take a break and eat so that I'm not disturbing everyone else. If you're hungry, have a snack, because I was also focusing on my stomach and how hungry I was towards the end. And I did eat before, but it was 2 hours. So I feel like I've been rambling. If you have any other questions, leave it in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. Main takeaway: overwhelmed myself with too many resources. I had too many expectations for my study schedule. And in reality, when I cut down the resources that I had and I didn't stick to a firm study schedule, I did great. I mean, I passed. I was lucky enough to have a lot of support. If I had failed, I would have been able to get right back up and try again. It's not the end of the world if you fail. You're not stupid. You're not dumb. Take a break, gather yourself together, and get right back up and try again, because you will be an RN. You've put all this work into it. 100% you can do it. Any other tips that you want to leave for other people, feel free to leave them in the comments. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow my Instagram, because I have some exciting news coming up. At the beginning of my nursing journey, there's so much I want to accomplish and do. Either I can help you guys out, or you can just be entertained.